Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to a very special, what is known as our mini-sodes. This is a mini-sode of Comic Books: A New Class. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. I am joined by the incredible. Where am I pointing? Where are my arms going? There they are. Yes, right over here. I am joined by my incredible co-host, Crayley Vanest, one half of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, and the co-host of Comic Books: A New Class, alongside yours truly. Crayley, how are you?
I am doing great. I love our mini-sodes. They're like fun size, we're just like tiny little candy bars that you snack in between meals, but podcast style.
That's very true. And Halloween will be here before you know it, which is also true. So let's keep that in mind as we go along. But we're not talking about Halloween necessarily. We're not talking about ghouls, monsters, and all that jazz. Not just yet. Not just yet. But in this particular, what is known as our mini-sodes, this one, we're going to be talking about modern day trades that we would recommend to you to give a chance to read, maybe learn a little bit more about certain characters that have been around for many decades. Some of the more modern stories, some stories that take place within modern day and that sort of thing. But if you have any ideas or comments or thoughts about any of the trades or stories that we mentioned here on this minisode, let us know in the comments, let us know in the chat. We would love to hear from you. We enjoy interacting with you, new fans and our veteran ones. So thank you so much for being here. But in this case,
Thank
we're going to,
you.
I know it's great, isn't it? So in this case, we're talking about modern trades. These are trades that came out, I believe it's starting within the year 2000 when everyone thought that Y2K, we're all going to be dead. No, we're still here. We're not dead. We're very much alive, which I'm very thankful for. And Crayley's thankful for that too.
I
So
am.
it's great, isn't it? So starting with the year 2000 and moving, forward with that, that is what we're doing here. Crayley, what is our first title that we are going to be mentioning here?
Our first title that we're going to be mentioning here is JLA Tower of Babel. This is one of Ryan's submissions. He's going to tell us all about why this is one of his post Y2K classic suggestions.
Wow, post Y2K. I haven't heard those words in a long time. A long time. But anywho, Tower of Babel featuring the JLA, which stands for Justice League of America from DC Comics. This is written by the incredible Mark Waid and Howard Porter, among others. This came out in the year 2000. Now, this storyline is about the JLA is suffering heavy losses, and they're trying to figure out what exactly is causing all this, who is trying to bring them down, who is trying to destroy them. Is someone trying to destroy us from within? Do we have a traitor in our midst? Or is there something else going on out there in the galaxy or the universe that the Justice League of America may or may not be aware of? We're not really sure, but you see Batman towering over a set of bodies, so maybe Batman had something to do with it. Maybe Batman is the ultimate traitor. Maybe he has betrayed his fellow brethren within the Justice League of America. I'm not really sure. But this cover is very dark, very intriguing, and I'm wondering, why is Superman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and all these other characters, why are they taking a long sleepy bye in a poppy seed field like they did in 1939's The Wizard of Oz, or are they really dead? And if so, why? I want to know why. But I don't want to get in the realm of spoilers, if you will. But this is a really good dark storyline, and it's by the one and only Mark Waid, who, in my opinion, he is my favorite comic book writer. So pretty much anything that Mark Waid does, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to read it because I think Mark Waid is a very talented. He's one of the best in the business, especially in the modern day, if you will. I know he's been writing for more than 22 years, a lot longer than 22 years, Mark. I'm not trying to disrespect your age or whatever, but Tower of Babel, it's gritty. It's a bit dark. So that's the first title I wanted to bring up. Crayley, what do we have up next?
Up next, we've got this pretty little ditty from 2005, Captain America Winter Soldier, The Ultimate Collection.
Oh, yes, indeed. And you may or may not be familiar with this title already. This was adapted into a major motion picture within the MCU featuring Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson, Samuel L. Jackson, and a bunch of other actors. Robert Redford was in this. So this is where that storyline came from. More specifically, this is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the storyline, and it came out in the year 2005 by Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting, and Michael Lark. Now, Ed Brubaker, this is another one of the biggest names in comics right now. He has done a lot of crime dramas, a lot of crime thrillers with his Criminal series, if I'm not mistaken there, Crayley. And he's done a great job with that. He's done a great job with other, taking a shot at writing other characters. And this one in particular is focusing on the Marvel universe with Captain America. Now, in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, there is this mysterious soldier that has been assassinating people for over 60, 80 years. It's ridiculous how long. And everyone's wondering, is he a ghost? Is he immortal? Is it like a new generation of a Winter Soldier taking over the mantle every 10, 15, 20 years? What is going on? Captain America and his team are trying to get to the bottom of this. Who exactly is the Winter Soldier? And why is he assassinating certain high profile targets without, certain government oversight? Is he working for Hydra? Is he not working for Hydra? Is he on his own? Is he an independent contractor? And what kind of mysterious link does he have to Captain America's past? I don't know. I'm not really sure, even though the movie's been out for like almost a decade, so you've probably seen the movie by now, because it's one of the better films within the MCU, and quite frankly, in my opinion, I think it's the best MCU movie. Solo movie, not counting the team ups, because that's a completely different story there, Crayley. But Captain America: The
Completely
Winter Soldier
different.
is really solid stuff. So if you've not read the original source material, I strongly advise you to read this because there is great dialogue, there is really good artwork here, and the character moments in here are really, really well done. So I would check this out. Crayley, you've probably read this like 50 times, though.
No, actually, Kelly read it and talked to me, so I feel like I read it. For those who don't know, Kelly is my Phoenix sister. So I feel like I've read it.
That's not necessarily the same thing, so you may want to write that one down and just read it.
All right. Got to pull out the infamous notebook here.
Yes, make sure you're writing all this stuff down. Feel free to write this stuff down at home, too, for those of you who may be watching or listening to this in the comfort of your own home or office, wherever you may be where you are listening or watching this episode. And we thank you for doing so. Crayley, what do we got up next?
All right. We're going to let Ryan talk at least one more time. About Batman the Black Mirror, which came out in 2011.
Yes, it did. Yes, indeed. So Batman the Black Mirror is by Scott Snyder, Jock, and Francesco Francavilla. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. This was when Scott Snyder started writing for Batman. And Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are two of the most popular writers and artists that have ever teamed up to work on a Batman story in more recent comic book history, if you will. So this is from 2011. Now, in Batman the Black Mirror, Bruce Wayne has taken a step back. He is no longer Batman. In this story, Batman is Dick Grayson, the original Robin. Nightwing has taken over the mantle of Batman. And he is trying to solve these crimes in Gotham City. He's doing a good job of it, but then a new enemy comes about, and he's not quite sure what exactly is going on. How is this enemy detecting my every move? How is this new antagonist of mine always one step ahead of me? Is there a connection to the Bat family? Is there a connection to some of the rogues gallery of Batman villains that Bruce Wayne fought before Nightwing took over the mantle as Batman, which he does in this story? Very good stuff. I very much enjoyed this because seeing a different person be Batman other than just Bruce Wayne, that's intriguing to me. To see other members of the Bat family take over the mantle and try to patrol Gotham City the way Bruce Wayne would have wanted them to. But then again, Robin, who in this case is Batman, in this storyline, in this one here with Batman the Black Mirror, he does it in his own way. He is trying to take over this mantle, but he's trying to do it his way and not so much live in the shadow, no pun intended, of Bruce Wayne's iteration of being Batman. So you get to see Robin's interactions with Commissioner Gordon. You get to see Dick Grayson's interactions with Alfred and how Alfred is trying to convince him to, hey, you live in the Wayne Manor now. You should make the master bedroom your own. Bruce left. He's gone. This room is yours now. And Dick Grayson is reluctant to do it. He says, Alfred, I don't really feel at home here. This doesn't really feel like it's my home because this is Bruce Wayne's home. It's not really mine, even though I've lived here for, a number of years. Don't get me wrong. So this is a really good passing of the torch kind of story. And there's also a new antagonist that is revealed in this that I really, really liked. And they played with the Rogues Gallery a little bit crazy. So I was intrigued by that. So if you're looking for something that is still set within the Batman universe, but it comes with a little bit of a different flavor, specifically with someone taking over the mantle of Batman, because I know that's happened a few times here and there in the comics, but I really never hear much about it. I don't really see it being marketed as much. I don't get a chance to read it as much, but in this case, I did get a chance to read this one, which is Batman the Black Mirror. and I really liked it. I thought it was very intriguing, and the character moments between Commissioner Gordon and Dick Grayson are really good. They're really solid. So if you're looking for something a little bit different within the Batman universe, I would strongly recommend Batman the Black Mirror by Scott Snyder, just as he was cutting his teeth writing for the Batman universe within DC Comics. So check out this trade paperback. Get it at your local comic shop. Support your LCS, by the way. That's always something to do. Right, Crayley? I think I'm right. So that is something that I wanted to bring up. So Batman the Black Mirror, Crayley, I hope you wrote that one down because you're really going to want to check that one out, since, considering the fact that you're kind of a big DC fan.
Kind of, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a smidge. But anyway, that is what I have to
You really
say.
sold me on this one, though, because of you saying that it, one, brings up a new antagonist, and two, focuses so much on characters other than Bruce Wayne / Batman. Because one of my favorite Batman tales of all time, if I can digress from our pre-scheduled programming there for a second, is Batman No Man's Land. It's been a novel. I listened to it on audiobook. So it gives you a really in-depth look, because different characters tell different chapters of the story. So it's like, that was one of my biggest introductions to Renee Montoya, like from the GCPD, you know?
I'm familiar with her character, yeah.
Right? It was so great. It was so great. And multiple people, I don't want to spoil too much, but multiple people keep picking up like the Batman symbol and using it this way or that way. And there's so much discussion about like what the bat symbol means now that the bat family has gotten large, and like who does and doesn't own the bat symbol now, which chef's kiss. It's really great. So you check out No Man's Land, I'll check out Black Mirror. We'll trade book reports later, right?
Yes, call it even, if you will. But yes, that is great. So what is the next title we want to bring up here?
Our next title I'm going to talk about, it came out in 2012, Aquaman Volume 1, The Trench. So the Aquaman run from the New 52 is one of the only parts of the New 52 that I like really, really liked. Okay. And like, I hate to say that, because I mean, I think all the writers and inkers and everybody who are working on the New 52 were working on it really hard and like trying to pull characters in a different direction to keep things interesting. But there were a lot of changes in the New 52 that I just didn't like. That's not the case with Aquaman. And I think it's partially because Jeff Johns wrote this. Okay. So like, let me see. I've got my physical copy over here so I can read the names a little better. So yeah, it's Jeff Johns, Ivan Reis, and Joe Prado. And so in this, so this happens after the Throne of Atlantis struggle. Okay, so like the world knows who Aquaman is because his brother Orm and his struggle for the throne, that you might or might not be familiar with from the movie that came out a couple of years ago, is what really gets the world's attention. Things bubble up to a point where the land gets involved in their struggle for succession. And so Aquaman is already famous by the time this story starts. If you haven't read The Throne of Atlantis, you can still follow what's going on here perfectly well. I want to say that. Like, but if you want to read a more modern feeling Aquaman that's way less cheeseball, it just pays homage to the older, cheesier Aquaman, you have to read Aquaman Volume 1, The Trench. There's questions about like, when is killing justified? Like the big hero questions start coming up right away in this volume. And then there's also kind of a meta narrative about the way Aquaman has been perceived in our real world, right? There's a scene in the very beginning, I'm not giving anything away by this, where a blogger or like news blogger or somebody asks him, what's it like being no one's favorite superhero? Like, you know, it's really paying attention to the fact that previously Aquaman's been considered a lame hero, and he is not uncool in this at all. So read Aquaman Volume 1, The Trench, especially if you were like, man, I didn't really like the New 52, like make an exception, because I did. And then my next submission came out in 2014, Gotham City Sirens. Joe Prado also worked on this one. It was Paul Dini. Oh no, Joe Prado. Maybe he didn't. Okay, so it's Paul Dini, Guillaume March, Tony Bedard, and Andre Guinaldo. And again, if I pronounce any of, hey, writers and inkers and everybody, if you're watching this and we said your name wrong, tell us. Our unofficial slogan for this show is correct me if I'm wrong. Correct us if we're wrong. But Gotham City Sirens, it's really great. So it's about Harley, Ivy, Catwoman. All right. The Riddler is also a really big character. And so this is after, like, so Batman is missing. He's been missing for a long time, and things are just kind of weird and off kilter in Gotham right now. And so these three particular women who used to be supervillains are now kind of shifting their roles. They, like, Harley's moved into more of an anti-hero thing. Catwoman has played around with being a hero. Pamela, also known as Poison Ivy, has considered just noping off to the Amazon rainforest and giving up on humanity as a whole. And they all end up being roommates through circumstances, and their bonds to each other start to affect those journeys away from super villainy that they've been making lately. And it's just so great, and you should pick it up and you should read it. I mean, if you have like a passing familiarity with, you know, the denizens of Gotham, like, you'll be able to jump into this. And if you're like, what, when did that happen? That's what Wikipedia is for. So you can start right here, even if you haven't read a Batman novel outside of like Hush or something, you know. I have one more for us before I give the mic back to Ryan. This is an indie comic. It was actually illustrated by somebody I used to work with at a completely different company years ago. But this is Lucky by Jerry Willoughby and Zane DeGane. It is not for children. It is from the perspective of a zombie. So this is a zombie book, like a la The Walking Dead, but, you know, from the other perspective. And it's got a very dry humor, and I don't want to ruin anything else for you. It is published by, I want to make sure people know where to get the big name stuff, but when we talk about indie comics, I want to make sure that people know where to go to get it. So this one is, you can get it at creatorsedgepress.com. So hopefully this focuses well on camera for everybody. creatorsedgepress.com. You know, support indie creators, do it. You won't regret it. They appreciate it. Like, support indie creators. Lucky. Not for kids. Not for kids. Has foul language, and I mean, he's a zombie. It's gross.
That sounds about right.
Right? I'm gonna turn the mic back over to Ryan now. Are you ready for your next submission, Ryan?
No, I'm never ready. Yes, of course I am. Yeah, we're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Ryan is usually very prepared. So in 2015,
yes,
this was released, Star Wars Princess Leia. Wade Dodson, and Bel Air.
Bel Air, Fresh Prince. Anybody at Bel Air? No, I'm kidding. Even so, yes, indeed. This is Star Wars Princess Leia. Came out in 2015, written by Mark Waid and Terry Dodson, among many others. This takes place, and this is from Marvel Comics, so this takes place immediately after the events of the Battle of Yavin. So it's right after the events of Episode 4, A New Hope, the original trilogy, just to be more specific, the original trilogy. And we always, it's a great, this is really good. This contains 5 issues. It's in a trade paperback, and once again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about Mark Waid. He's my favorite comic writer, and this man just knows how to write. He just any property or character he is given the opportunity to write for, he just knows what the heck he's doing because he's been doing it for so long. And I heard about this from a mutual friend of ours. I think her name is Kelly Gettner. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of her, but she spoke.
That nobody.
I know, right? Who knows who Kelly is? But Kelly spoke about this, and it took me a hot minute, Kelly, I know. But I eventually went out, bought it, read it, and I got to tell you, this is some great Star Wars stuff because some people always, I mean, granted, you had the Legends books, but those aren't part of the, the Disney Lucasfilm canon. But this story takes place after the events of the Battle of Yavin, the Episode 4 of New Hope. What did happen after the Battle of Yavin? How did the Senate was wiped out? Princess Leia was like the last member of the the Imperial Senate at the time, and all this stuff, but like what did happen after the Battle of Yavin? How did the government shift? How did the Rebel Alliance, how did they find that base on the ice planet known as Hoth? How did they set up shop? How did they do all this stuff? And Princess Leia is the center of this story. So it's about her dealing with the events of after Episode 4, going into Episode 5, which is The Empire Strikes Back, just to be a little bit more specific. And it's great. It's a Princess Leia character arc, and it's a character story, and I love this. This is great. So you get to see her team up with a new ally. You get to see her in action a little bit more. She's got a blaster in her hand, so Lord knows she's going to be, doing some blasting if it comes to it. If she needs to lay the smack down, she's going to do it. She's going to do it because she's just that darn good. So if you're looking for a great adventure story featuring great characters, great empowered female characters, look no further than the icon known as Princess Leia. Great story, great stuff. It's 5 issues. It's a quick read, but it's a great trade paperback written by Mark Waid and company. And it takes place after the events of Episode 4, A New Hope, and you get to see the behind-the-scenes stuff that she had to deal with, some of the pressures she was under, how strong she was, and how she was encouraging this new ally that she meets up with to say, hey, you got to make a stand on your own. You got to stand on your own 2 feet. You can't let people dictate to you what you should and shouldn't be doing with your life because you're meant for bigger things, right? So great stuff. If you haven't read it, check it out. But thanks, Kelly Gettner, for recommending this to me because it took me a hot minute, but I finally flippin' read it, and I like it a lot. So there you go. Star Wars Princess Leia 2015, written by Mark Waid from Marvel Comics, just to be a little bit more specific. Check it out.
All right. And then this one came out in 2017. Marvel Star Wars Darth Maul. Tell us what you liked about Darth Maul. Why is that a modern comic that all of our viewers should read?
What's not to like about Darth Maul? I mean, yes, he's an enemy. Yes, he's a bad guy. Yes, we got bits and pieces. Well, pun intended. Bits and pieces of him in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, when he debuted in 1999, which, by the way, that film is now 23 years old. That's crazy. That's crazy that movie's been out for over 23 years. Crazy! But
Patsy Cline crazy.
Patsy Cline, exactly.
Crazy.
So I know, right? So in Star Wars Darth Maul, he is obsessed with revenge. He is obsessed with getting what he wants. He is obsessed with taking down the Emperor for betraying him and not helping him when he needed him most. So Darth Maul's on a quest for revenge, and who doesn't like going on a quest for revenge? We all like that. So this is a revenge story. He teams up with, to me, somewhat surprising characters. He teams up with a clan of Mandalorians. He teams up with some other alien species, and he's got the dual-bladed lightsaber because he is ticked off, and he wants payback, baby. So this story is, once again, 5 issues in a trade paperback. Pretty quick read. Wouldn't take you too long. But this is great. It's action-packed. It's dark. It's intriguing. You get to learn a heck of a lot more about this character than you ever would have in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, because we barely got any of him in that movie. When he was on screen, though, he commanded the screen, Crayley, but we didn't really get much of him. We never really did. Of course, he got redemption in Star Wars, The Clone Wars animated series, which, yes, I know is currently streaming on Disney+, hashtag not a sponsor. But this is a great standalone story featuring Darth Maul because, yes, he's a bad guy. Yes, I'm not supposed to root for him, but at the same time, I can't help but root for this character because he's got his flaws. He knows that he's twisted. He knows that he's out of his mind, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He is simply out for revenge against the Emperor and his minions, and he's going to do anything to stop him, whether it's teaming up with a clan of dirty cops like this Mandalorian clan is, or people who are devoted to him, are his followers, if you will, because there's a little bit of that in this story. But it's great, and it's action-packed, and it's a revenge story. And who doesn't like a good old-fashioned revenge tale? So if you're looking for something like that, and you're a Star Wars fan, or you're a new Star Wars fan looking to learn more about certain characters that haven't been featured as heavily as others in the media, Darth Maul has been featured in many a comic in the past, Crayley. He has, but this is one of the trade paperbacks that stands out amongst some of the others. So check it out. It's Star Wars Darth Maul. It's from Marvel Comics. It's written by, if I'm saying this right, Colin Bunn and Luke Ross, among others. So check it out. Great story. And yeah, and may the dark side of the Force be with you, I guess. I really shouldn't be saying that because I'm Team Jedi all the way through. But just enjoy the heck out of the story. Crayley, you might want to write that one down. But other than that, that is what I have to say about Star Wars Darth Maul from 2017 and Marvel Comics. Any thoughts?
Oh, well, one of my thoughts is I really want to make sure I don't forget to mention our sponsor, theradbear.com. If you use the code COMICS10, COMICS10, at theradbear.com, you get a discount on amazing geeky t-shirts. And, we get a little something. So, support content creators, support the people who are trying to help you get deeper into comics when you shop at theradbear.com and use code COMICS10. Ryan, do you want to take us out of here?
Sure, why not? I've done enough already. But even so, thank you for those of you, for you who may be watching or listening to this right now. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Once again, leave any and all your thoughts in the comment section below of this episode in this video or this episode on the podcast feed. We would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, or suggestions about other titles that we may have missed out on, something we may want to check out a little bit later on down the line, right, Crayley? So let us know. We would love to hear from you. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5 on Twitter and Instagram. There's a link in my bio there to my link tree, which contains my show And I Quote, which I host and produce on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where I interview content creators of all shapes and sizes, including Crayley Vanest. She's been a guest on the show in the past. Kelly Gettner has been on the show in the past. Other people who are in the nerdy realm, such as ourselves, have been on the show in the past. So feel free to check it out. Crayley, where can the person watching or listening to this find you on social media?
Linktree.com/Phoenix Sis Cosplay, SIS in the middle there, short for Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. It's got everything me, everything Kelly, cosplay, books we've written, Pokeballs that I make and sell, just all my stuff is on there.
It's great, isn't it? Pikachu, gotta catch them all. So with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Smash that notification bell so you get notified when our new episodes and videos go up, because you're going to like the way you look after watching or listening to Comic Books The New Class. We guarantee it. In the meantime, life is better when reading.
Bye.